Welcome, curious minds, to List of. Today, we're diving deep into the dusty archives of human history and the murky depths of legend to uncover. Stories that were once dismissed as mere fantasy, but then bam, reality hit them with a surprise embrace. We're talking about the myths that turned out to be, well, a little less mythical than we thought. List of legends and myths that turned out to be real. Let's start with a city that's practically synonymous with epic tales of war and heroism. Troy. For centuries, the story of Achilles, Hector, and that rather large wooden horse was considered little more than a poet's fanciful embroidery. But then, Heinrich Schliemann, a man obsessed with Homer's Iliad, went digging. And dig he did, unearthing not just one, but multiple layers of a Bronze Age city that matched the descriptions with uncanny accuracy. So, that giant horse, probably not real, but the city? Absolutely, mind blown. Now let's take a plunge into the abyss. For ages, sailors whispered tales of colossal sea monsters with tentacles long enough to crush ships. Scientists, bless their skeptical hearts, mostly scoffed. Until that is, we started pulling actual gargantuan squid out of the ocean. Giant squids. Yep, those legendary Krakens, turns out they were just really big cephalopods. They're still elusive and frankly terrifying, but definitely real. So next time you're near the ocean, maybe just don't look down. From underwater behemoths to structures that defy our understanding of ancient capabilities. Picture this, a city so old we don't even have a good word for old anymore. We're talking about Göbekli Tepe in Turkey. This wasn't just a collection of huts. It's a complex of massive stone pillars, intricately carved, predating Stonehenge and the pyramids by millennia. For a long time, the idea of hunter-gatherers creating such monumental architecture was unthinkable. But there it was, literally rising from the earth, forcing archaeologists to rewrite the early chapters of human civilization. It's like discovering your toddler built a skyscraper with Lego. Speaking of ancient mysteries, have you ever heard of Viking sunstones? The saga spoke of Vikings navigating treacherous seas, even on cloudy days, using magical stones to find the sun. Most historians thought this was just poetic license for, they were really good at looking at the clouds. But then, experiments and analysis revealed that certain crystals like calcite can polarize light. Put one of these sunstones in your hand, and you can actually pinpoint the sun's position, even if it's hidden. So those fierce Norsemen weren't just strong, they were also remarkably well-equipped navigators. And then there's the legend of a forest, so unique and isolated it became a myth in itself. The lonely tree forest myth. The story usually involves a single, magnificent tree standing in an otherwise barren landscape, a beacon of life and solitude. While not a specific location, the concept resonated so deeply that many natural wonders were interpreted through this lens. And you know what? We found countless examples. From lone trees in vast deserts to solitary rock formations on desolate plains, nature has a way of creating these iconic, solitary figures that echo ancient myths. It turns out sometimes the lonely ones are the most inspiring. Now let's talk about warriors. The myth of the Amazons, fierce female warriors who lived independent of men, was often relegated to the realm of fantasy. But archaeological discoveries, particularly of female warrior graves with elaborate weaponry, have suggested that groups of formidable women, potentially organized and respected for their martial prowess, may have actually existed. While not a sprawling matriarchal empire as some legends depict, the evidence points to a kernel of truth in these powerful female figures. So maybe don't mess with the historically accurate, but still incredibly tough ancient warriors. Finally, a tale of a lost army. The story of the Lost Army of Cambyses is one of ancient disaster. Herodotus wrote of 50,000 Persian soldiers who vanished without a trace in the Egyptian desert while on an expedition. For centuries it was considered pure legend. But then, in the 1980s, archaeologists found evidence, pottery shards and weapons, in a location that aligned with the historical accounts of the expedition. While the scale of the discovery is still debated, and the full story remains somewhat lost to the sands of time, it offers tantalizing partial evidence that this immense military catastrophe might not have been entirely fictional. So there you have it. From ancient cities to mythical creatures and lost armies, the line between legend and reality is blurrier than we often imagine. It just goes to show sometimes the most unbelievable stories have a solid foundation in truth. What other myths do you think might be real? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to List of for more fascinating dives into the world's most intriguing topics. See you next time.